In a world dominated by fear, conspiracy theory, and
Other
misinformation, Crossing Swords is here to cut through the noise. As always, I'm Andrew.
And I'm football crazy, football mad. I'm gonna marry your mum so you can call me dad.
It's a bit weird. I mean, she's single now.
Yeah, no, I waited.
Subject,
I waited the appropriate amount of time before your dad had died. After your dad died.
Before my dad died.
Before I made my move.
Oh, God damn it.
And said, when he dies, you and me.
I can't believe you got in there before my dad was. That was a really poor choice of words.
It was a wonderful poor choice of words.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't seedy or anything.
He was appropriate amount of time before he died.
He was in the hospital.
Yeah, I mean, he was no good to anyone at that
At the moment we knew.
Yeah.
I said, listen here, babe.
I wonder why she popped off.
Listen here, Tootsie, me and you.
Thought it was a weird time.
It was odd.
You got your name in. Do you know what I mean?
You've got to listen. You've got to claim these things early.
Yeah. I mean, my mum's a high value woman, clearly.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. You keep my wife's name out your mouth. You use that thing. You use the sound.
What about this instead?
Mama like that. Mama like
Equally
that.
works. If you got, but you haven't got the Will Smith.
I've got it. You're just asking me to find it.
Keep my wife's name.
She's not my wife, though.
Out your fucking
She's my wife.
Out to be.
She's my wife.
So
You
you're
don't
gonna
talk
make-
shit about your mum. Because that's my wife.
You're going to make an honest woman out of my mum, are you?
I never said honest.
Just a woman.
Just I'm going to remind her of her womanhood.
Right, I see.
I'll admit,
I don't know how I
even as
feel
I said
about
that, I felt like I'd taken it too far. I felt like I'd taken a turn down
Do you
an
know what it
alleyway that I
was?
shouldn't have been
It
down.
was the consistent eye contact as you delivered it. You know.
I rescind
And
that.
then you said what you said.
I rescind it. I took it too far.
It's too
Look,
late.
it
It's
can't
out
be
there, bro.
unsaid,
No.
but it can be off the record.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate we're recording this. We might have to restart, but in the editing, I'll sort it out.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
fix it in post.
Yeah, yeah. As
Fix it in
always.
post. That should be our new new catchphrase.
Fix it in post.
Fix it in post.
Yeah.
Fix it in the edit.
Yeah, I mean, you never hear us say it usually because my editing skills are
It's
so
smooth.
good. It's seamless.
It's smooth.
Yeah, as you can tell by the high quality video, audio, and attire we're wearing,
I know. We
and studio.
we debated even just going topless.
Yeah, we actually did.
Came up.
But speaking of men we'd like to see topless, Jake, there's an elephant in the room. I mean, not yet.
Well, you can tie it in a knot, that's for sure.
We need to get our guest on.
Oh, that elephant,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, there's an elephant not in the room.
Yeah.
And I don't mean,
I mean, his
I'm
trunk.
just talking just on the trunk.
Yeah.
Just on the
obviously.
trunk.
Undoubtedly.
The man has got,
He's packing.
he's doing all right.
He's smuggling the schnauzer.
He's doing all right.
Yeah.
You know, he's got to get his speedo specially made, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Extra cloth.
large. Right, shall I call him up?
You call him up.
We just thought it was better doing this in pod rather than being professional. There we go. There's
And I
the
said it
ring.
earlier, he has the
It's the
ability to
pressure.
do the funniest thing.
To not answer. All right. Ash, you are live on Crossing Swords. We ask you not to swear and to wait for one more moment while we get a copyright strike.
Back to Jones, Jones, going back to Jones, back to Jones, back to Jones, get up now.
Ash, welcome to the pod.
How are we?
How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
I
I'm on the pod. Like,
I've got to admit, I'm a bit hot and sweaty. Jake came
I'm
in
quite
wearing
hot and sweaty.
a Hawaiian shirt. I've shut all the windows. I've closed the doors. It's getting steamy.
I was asking to take the shirt off. But
Me
Do you know,
too.
we literally, before getting you on, before the pod, on the pod, we're talking about getting our shirts off. So you're very much on
YouTube are
brand.
not going to be. YouTube's not going to get to witness that. So.
they
sadly
don't
not.
like the
We'll
nipple.
just have to use our
I can't describe
imagination.
If I had like little nipple tape, we might get away with it.
Maybe.
Just picture 4 in God of Thunder or whatever it is.
Yeah,
Yeah, do the
I'm
thing.
definitely a version of Thor.
I mean, I have been known to do body double work in the past, so
For Chris Hemsworth.
Oh,
for Lizzo. You know,
yeah.
that's a really good way to get yourself into some hot water, isn't it?
Yeah. I thought the blackface was too far, but it, got you the job.
But I have got a great idea of a place I'd like to take you guys where they use bananas, just like Lizzo. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, it's in Amsterdam. I know you guys have been. I know a few locals. You guys, you go a bit upper class than I do. I get to know the people. But when you travel with
I've
Jake,
actually been to that place where they use the bananas.
have you actually?
It's not the only thing they use. Yeah.
Oh God. Well, I think that's a bit too graphic.
The mistake
for our pod, isn't
The
it?
mistake you've made is saying, I know you guys go upper class.
Well, Ash probably wasn't with you, was he?
No.
There you go.
No.
So my point stands. He must not have been
Ash,
travelling with you.
I wanted to go, but there's like a
No,
height
we
limit.
were.
As there is in most things. I mean, I'm trying to get it added to more things, not anything
pod.
personal to you. Yeah, that one might feel personal, but it's not. I just think there's certain things you have to be a certain height for.
Well, I mean, the age limit is, I think, a bit lower over there, so Jake might have gone in.
Okay, well, that's promising.
It's something to hold on to.
Yeah, something to
I mean,
dream
not
about.
literally. Well, you don't want to touch them.
I don't know. Would you eat a banana after that? Like, would you?
Was it
as one of those
sealed?
dancers? I'm assuming so. I hope it wasn't open. That'd have gone mushy.
Yeah, if it was if it was still sealed up, and I was wearing like
yeah, she
gloves.
kills it for you.
Yeah, I would eat it.
Yeah, because I suppose in theory everything
It's fine, isn't it?
inside's safe,
It's fine.
isn't
Yeah.
it?
Would you?
Yeah. Well,
Would you, boys?
They use three guys.
It depends what vagina it came from. I've got a strict me and Leanne. We've got a policy on this sort of thing.
It's good to have it
What if
right.
it's coming from Jake's arse cheeks? I mean,
That's the future mother of my children, Ash. Careful.
Would you
What?
eat it, Ash?
Why? If it comes from Leanne's arse?
No,
A performing.
a hypothetical performer that's not Leanne.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
As long as I'm not right in there,
Yeah, but you're both single men. You're free. You're
don't-
unencumbered. Do you know what I mean?
I don't want to be getting a whiff of anything.
Yeah,
But,
but if you're low on potassium,
sometimes you got to do what you got to
Yeah,
do. The
exactly.
blood sugar's a bit low.
yeah.
Yeah,
You don't know what might happen that night. You could use the energy.
that's a fair point.
He's right. The man's right.
Yeah, when the man's right, the man's right.
When you need a boost.
Wow.
You see those tennis players using it all the time.
Well, on that lovely note, shall we change the subject dramatically
Yes. How do you want to do it dramatically?
with this? We're here to talk about football.
Tried and tested, baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, football.
yeah, football.
Go sport.
Lads, we might as well start off with, I mean, it's been a while for starters. A lot has happened since we last did a football pod. But the biggest thing is Man City doing the treble.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah. It was upsetting,
I take it you're not overly impressed, Jake.
No, I didn't say I wasn't impressed. I'm just not happy.
No?
Anyone can win the Champions League.
Yeah, that's been proven.
Yeah, but not the Premier League.
And let's be fair, you've had teams like, I mean, they didn't win it, but you've had teams like Hull and Swansea in the FA Cup
Yeah.
finals. Let's not get crazy here.
Who did they
Yeah,
beat
and
this
Man
year, though? No, but only one team in this country before has done the treble.
Yeah, no one liked
Hey,
it.
we've done the treble. It might have not been the same trophies, but
It's not a traditional treble.
Yeah, but they also lost four well, how many trophies did they win after being in the run-in for four? So let's not get too boastful.
we lost two.
Yeah.
I guess it's a bit like you losing 40 grand, wasn't it?
Yeah,
40 grand. I mean, that's one of my biggest losses,
I think it's
It's
your
up there.
biggest.
No, I'd say my
Yeah.
dad would be higher than that, Jake, but that's just me. Clearly, we've got different priorities. That's right. I just used my dead dad to smack you down.
You feel good about that?
Well, seeing as you fucked my mum before he died, yeah.
I didn't listen. I propositioned. I'm not an animal. I know the bro code.
Look, you've heard the song Mother Lover, like, needs enough.
Yeah,
Fine.
She's a single,
I'm
She's
gonna put
on
a
the market.
baby.
I think.
I'm not gonna put a baby in
might
that.
not be.
I'm not gonna put a baby in that.
No.
He's gonna make you another brother.
Yeah, I'll
Another one? I didn't know I had
I'll
one
run a
already.
bubble bath. Have a bubble bath.
With who?
Well, just a relaxing day. I'll just be there on hand if she needs me.
Who are you giving a bubble bath?
Your mum.
Oh, okay. I thought this was some theoretical child.
No,
Or
no,
me.
I'm not giving. I'm not giving children bubble baths.
Well, it'd be on brand.
I've never given. Just for the legal record.
No, he definitely didn't give him a bubble bath.
Don't like them clean. No, too far. I went too far. I knew it when I said
Yeah.
it.
You seem to be having that kind of day.
Yeah.
But no, so you guys aren't particularly impressed that
No, I mean,
Man City did the treble.
I can't speak for Ash, but I'm impressed.
Mm.
But it's
Well-
just it gets a bit boring with them winning everything.
No, I get that.
Yeah, if Liverpool had spent that much money and had that much talent in their squad, I'd expect them to win the treble.
Well, no, quite. I think last season they were by far the best team in the league and arguably in Europe, hence why they won the Champions League. Although, as Ash does claim repeatedly, anyone can do that.
Yeah, well, they should be ashamed it took them so long to win it.
Well, yeah, I think there's an argument to be made about that, definitely.
Well, they were arguably one of the best teams in Europe before that, and then they brought in Haaland.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know he didn't
And
do it
let's
in the
be
latter stages,
Arguably
but
the best. Well, I would say it's beyond argument now. He has to be the best striker in the world, doesn't he?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, because he doesn't score in the finals.
He does go missing the later in tournaments.
I could
Didn't
score,
seem to
I
matter
could
though,
score
did it?
I could score 4 against Burnley. I mean,
I'm not gonna lie. I
You
think
say that.
I feel like I
in
could.
that team,
If you put me in that
I
team and
could
you
score.
put like
I
De
think
Bruyne
it's nice to
and
think that. Like, don't get me wrong. I like to think I'd at least get 5.
Yeah, in a game.
No, in a season with Man City.
I'd be wanting
just
at
gotta
least
wait.
double figures.
I just got to wait for Grealish to fall over in the penalty
And all
area.
mine would be long range.
Yeah, and then you take the penalties.
Yeah.
I'd just make sure I was always just on the penalty spot, just waiting for the ball.
Goal hanging.
Yeah.
You'd get it.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, their classic goal is a pullback, isn't it?
I mean, they literally could do what the pack did with you,
Exactly.
but successfully.
Well, yeah, because they've got the
What
talent
do you mean?
to carry me, basically.
What do you
Or
mean?
to unleash me.
You know what I mean.
That we never rose up the league quicker than when Big was up front.
Lower scoring games, though, for sure.
Like our form had never been better.
Yeah, for all the wrong reasons. The betrayal was
do you mean?
real.
We were conceding, we were scoring goals. It was brilliant.
Yeah, it always coincided with when I left the pitch, though, didn't it?
Well, yeah, you know.
Don't know why he's being back for
Diplomatic.
now. He wasn't holding back
That
a
other
couple
day,
of weeks ago. Do you know what I mean?
Defeated.
You went to town the other week.
You did.
I mean, I love it.
And I responded by wearing a crown on pod.
It does feel good.
Yeah. I did feel good.
See, there's no seagulls.
That is seagull.
Can you hear the seagull?
Yeah. Just for anyone
We'll fix it in
wondering,
the post.
if anyone hasn't realised that Ash moved to the coast,
That he doesn't.
No, I'm on holiday.
That he's not in the room with us.
spoilers.
Yeah, I'm on holiday. What beach, really?
For anyone not watching YouTube, Ash just sat on the seafront doing a pod.
I didn't think you'd be able to hear the seagulls. I'm not gonna lie.
I love it.
With Man City, though, do you guys think there is an asterisk on the treble
Because of the
considering
financial allegations, charges.
Has,
that and who their money comes from ultimately as well?
well, has that been squashed yet, or is it still on
No,
there?
it's still ongoing.
Oh, so they could still get done for it.
Yeah, 115 charges or whatever there were.
150.
Well, yeah, they could. There will be an asterisk then if it comes to truth that they did fuck with finances or whatever.
What about for you lads currently, regardless of what comes out of it? Because to be honest with you, I don't have any faith that anything will happen to them anyway.
No, they'll be fine.
Yeah, but at least then we all know. I mean, yeah, they should be stripped. But the thing is, then Inter win the Champions League, which I don't mind. But
No, but then isn't it Lukaku? He has a Champions League to his name, doesn't he?
Yeah, I don't mind that.
He's a bit.
He
of a
doesn't
bell
need
end,
to be-
really.
he doesn't need to be in the same bracket as Jimmy Traore. I mean,
And
come
it,
on.
let's be fair, their win will always have an asterisk over it because they didn't actually win it.
Who?
Well, Inter.
Well, we're talking. I don't think they'll have anything stripped.
No, they won't. I don't think so.
No.
It'd be nice if they did, because then we would win a few more leagues.
That's your best bet.
Yeah, you just don't have the joy of seeing them lift the trophy, do you?
I'm not being funny. The way you guys have played so far, like this season and a bit last season, that actually is your best bet of winning.
Yeah.
Hey, we're fourth at the moment, so end of the season now. Good.
One of the things I was quite happy about doing this pod at the time we have is that there's an ever so slight indicator of how teams are looking going into the season as we've had a couple of games.
Yes, we have. Sorry, I didn't. Were you looking for?
Yeah, no, I thought you were going to continue. Yeah, I didn't know
No,
you
I
were,
was just remarking.
I've been 2 for 2 for
I
the Premier
thought
League.
you were
Have you?
Yeah.
In what sense?
Well, I've been to the first 2 games.
Oh, nice. What,
Yes.
home and away?
Yeah.
What did you think?
Of Palace,
Yeah.
it's the same as always. We're missing a threat.
Yeah.
I think when Elise comes back, the last game at point of recording was Arsenal at home.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of controversies around that game for various things, but I genuinely believe, and I spoke to a couple of people, or a few people since, and they've all agreed as well. I think if we had Zaha,
Yeah.
we get a point because he's the kind of player that rises to the moment
Yeah.
and he produces something in the big games.
Yeah.
And we don't have anyone like that in
Well,
the
we
team
had
at the
Snap
moment.
on the left wing, didn't we?
Yeah, it's not good.
So,
But you know what? I didn't even know he was on the pitch until like half time.
watch that.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
great.
when they brought up the
Well,
teams for
the thing is,
half, I-
despite his actual output, which actually isn't horrendous at all, he's not there for that, is he? And he's not
At
really
this stage in his
supposed to be
career, he's a left
wing.
back, really.
Yeah. It's where he started as well.
was he left mid or left wing?
He was left wing.
But was also
Yeah,
known
he-
to play at left back.
If he's been playing left wing, you expect him to assist or score.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's just not. I mean, despite having a Premier League medal,
Yeah.
he's not really that player.
Can I ask you, boys,
Please.
off the back of the first couple of games of the season, I'm
Yeah.
sure you would have wanted to cover it at some point anyway. How are we feeling about it before it started happening and now it's being implemented, about the whole time wasting and dissent and the crackdown on those things?
I'm not really bothered by it. I'm fine with it.
Say that again for us, please, Ash.
I said I'm fine with them. I don't have an issue with them really.
No, I tend to agree. I think at the moment it's going to be a negative thing because it's just happening. Players are going to have to adjust quite quickly to their behaviour. I think there was a few Arsenal players that got lucky in the Palace game that didn't get booked for asking for a booking. And yeah, I think it's an adjustment period. I think ultimately you'll see the added time go down because players will have to stop doing it because they're going to end up getting themselves sent off.
I think for me, there's three things that I've taken away from it at the moment.
Mm.
One, I think the rest need better guidance in terms of so for the Tomiyasu booking,
Yeah.
Havertz was the worst offender in that move. Now, Tomiyasu's paying the price of a team thing,
Yeah.
but I think the rest need better guidance on who should be being booked and when they should be being booked. Because in something like that, and then if a free kick, for example, if you put the ball down, line up to take it, then walk away, then someone else comes on, lines up to take it, then walks away, who are you booking out of that? Because there's a team there wasting time, but which
Book all
individual
three.
players? Well, this is the thing. I think the rest need clearer guidance. I think it's the same thing as anything particularly in the Premier League, but in any league, but it's really bad in the Premier League. It's consistency. A, across the games, but B, even in the same game, a ref will book a player for something in
And
the
then
first
not do
half, and then in the second half, they will let another player get away scot-free with it. And the third thing is, it's similar to the consistency. Once they've said, right, that's your lot now, you're not time wasting, I'm booking you for taking forever for the throw-in, you need to book them every single time on
Yeah.
both sides now, because you've laid down the law, and you need to stick with it. And
Yeah.
for
I
me, so
think-
far, that's not happening.
I think the real thing is they have to just double down on it, even if
Yeah,
that
you have to
means
take it seriously.
there's full sending offs.
No, you have to take
Again,
it seriously.
You need to crack on with it, and eventually teams will.
Otherwise, they'll do
sort
it till
it
they
out.
get booked and then go, well, they ain't going to book us again, and
Yeah.
carry on.
No, I agree.
Well, Liverpool had a card this weekend.
You're gonna have to repeat that
Liverpool-
again for us, please, Ash.
I said I think there were 5 red cards this weekend.
5.
5. What in the Premier League?
Yeah. Yeah, there was one in
That
every
is a
3
lot,
o'clock.
isn't it?
Yeah.
But I think it's necessary.
Yeah, it's going to happen
yeah.
early on, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, McAllister's got rescinded in all fairness.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they corrected that quickly as well.
But it was still, but he did still get sent off in the game.
Yeah. But again, I
Yeah.
think if we're stricter with the rules, that does mean you're going to end up with players that perhaps don't need to be sent off or didn't deserve to be, but it will get rescinded. And I think eventually,
Players will find the balance.
yeah, I think we need to find the mistakes now as well. The earlier these mistakes happen and are corrected, the better it will be long term.
Yeah, well, the issue with the McAllister one was VAR didn't overrule it.
No.
That was the big issue.
No, and to be honest with you, I don't know how anyone watching that tackle thought that was a sending off, to be honest with you, even at full speed.
No. Well, I can get it at full speed because the game is hella quick nowadays.
Yeah, I've got to admit, at full speed, I wasn't sure.
No, just my instinct when I saw it, being the midfield maestro. That
Yeah,
I
well,
am.
obviously, you see the game at a different pace than me and Ash.
Of course, yeah. When the game's
Yeah.
coming at you thick and fast, to me and Messi and the like, and Perlo,
You take a
it's-
breath and the whole thing just slows down.
Yeah, always has. You know,
It's like half speed to you guys. But,
that's being generous, to be honest.
well, yeah. I mean, and I don't think it helps that the way players react to most things nowadays, you can't tell who's faking an injury and who's actually broken their leg or whatever.
No, I'll tell you the best thing for me if they stick with it. And because I've said this to you, both of you boys, before, going back a long time. I've always said that someone who asks for a yellow card should be booked. So the
Yeah.
fact that they're now doing that pleases me.
No,
Oh, yeah, I love that.
Because it's like, I'm the ref, I'll make the decisions, not you.
Yeah, I think the secret to it simply will be giving the refs the authority to make the mistakes. Do you know what I mean? Even if we end up having to rescind a lot of it.
But there's such weak refereeing in the Premier League these
Yeah.
days.
Well, to be honest, the quality's poor as well. I think that's why most of the time we have issues. If the ref makes the right call with McAllister, you don't need VAR to overturn it. Do you know what I mean?
It's the same shit
Well, I
ref.
think
Go on.
the referee all is quite poor, really, in all leagues.
Maybe.
Maybe. I think
Yeah.
there is a general feeling, though, in other countries theirs are better.
I don't know, I watched the problem is we're exposed to the Prem a lot more, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
we see bad decisions.
Did you boys see...
Well, I was watching the Barcelona game against Getafe or someone like some rubbish.
yeah, the other week on ITV.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the official in that game.
Yeah, that was poor. That was bad. I only saw one half of the game, but it was weak. Again, it was weak.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in every league, bias exists towards the bigger clubs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
well,
don't know
it-
what that is, though, and I don't get why that would be a thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't get why a ref would be concerned about that.
I don't know if it's conscious.
Maybe. What do you think? It's just they're in awe of what they're surrounded by that they're just like give
Yeah, I
decisions
mean-
in favour.
This is the better team, it must be a foul to them. Or
Yeah, that sort
Whatever.
of thing.
I guess so. I've just never really understood it. I don't know why you would let it bother you as a ref, but I've never done the job. I've never been around high level
Well,
athletes other than you guys
speaking
in
of-
Power League.
Did you guys see the Portsmouth game over the weekend?
I did not.
Pompey,
I genuinely can't remember who they were against. I want to say Swindon, but I don't think it was.
So they still in League One.
Yeah.
Yeah.
an official from
Oh, they
crap.
lost to
They
the
picked-
officials.
They
yeah,
picked an
yeah.
official from the crowd.
Yeah,
So it could have been your moment.
but they got commended. I mean, sadly, I don't go to watch a lot of the Portsmouth games.
You could have been down there and then you could have come on the pod and say, well, as someone who's officiated at a high level,
Well, I could have taken that initiative. Sadly, my skills as a medium aren't as...
how much do
Good
you
as
think
my
they
football
checked
ability.
whether he actually was a qualified ref? Because I don't imagine you go around with your certificate on you just in
Or do
case.
you reckon they have a database?
I mean,
Yeah.
it wouldn't take long to look it up, would it?
No, I just like the idea that he's always got his laminated certificate in his with him at all games.
Or do you reckon the Premier League just put a ringer in the stadium? They
Just
just
in
say, look,
case.
go to the game. Like, come on, it's 1 in a million. You're going to be needed.
I think that's way more organised for EFL than we're giving them credit.
You know me, I like to believe in a good conspiracy.
Part of me wants to get my officiating license just on the off chance needed.
If
That's
I was
my
if
thing.
I was going regularly to football games, maybe I'd consider it just on the off chance I get to make it in the papers. But to be honest with you, I don't want to run up and down a football pitch with
No, Zone of
Premier
Terror.
League footballers.
You could be the fourth
I would
official,
just
maybe.
stand on the
Yeah, you
centre
could be the
spot and
fourth official.
officiate from there.
Just time keep.
All right, I think I could time keep.
I don't think I
You
could.
could- If they're like, look, we need.
You
to
haven't
run
got the
line.
attention span for that.
I'm not running the line.
No, I tend to agree with you. Before we move on, though, just going back to Man City for a moment.
Oh my
what does
God, you're
this-
obsessed, man.
What does this do with Pep's
Are you secret,
reputation?
man?
Is he the best of all time? Is he up there with Sir Alex? Like, what are we talking about? Because for me, Sir Alex is the bar.
I'll let Ash take this one first.
He's the best coach of all time. I wouldn't say manager.
No, I think that's a fair distinction to make, considering the roles him and Sir Alex have at their respective clubs.
I think.
I don't think he coached a team better than him.
Well, I think they've both approached the rebuild very differently. So Sir Alex was trying to buy young players and then bed them in at the same time as the
Develop
older
them.
players were still there. And I think Pep's kind of buying
The best.
relatively
ready-made
established players
Yeah,
who are
ready-made
still pretty
players.
young, but established. But he's looking at ones that are going to fit his, and then he's changing the way they play and saying, "Look, you've got the ability to play more possession-based football, so come and play."
I mean, imagine the arrogance, though, just for a second, of being Pep and being like, it doesn't matter who I sign. Like, if it was Messi, whoever, I expect them to play
A
the
certain
Pep
way,
way.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I know more about football than any of these people.
Well, it's a team game.
No, I get that, but I just, in my head, I'd never really thought about the arrogance of Pep.
For me as well,
In
I
that
know we've
regard.
said this before, and I do stand. I'm not just saying this because I'm like a hipster or a hater or like, oh fuck them, they've won treble. I would be far more impressed by Pep if he went to a club.
Like Liverpool.
Well, no, just a club that he went
I've had it.
Barcelona. Every clubs have rose up and done it a bit, but Barcelona were really one of a 2-horse race in Spain when
Yeah.
he went there. Bayern Munich
Yeah.
were a 1-horse race.
Yeah.
City were
Yeah.
already one of the top clubs in the
Yeah.
country. They'd already won a couple of Premier Leagues.
Yeah, he doesn't take it. He takes the team and elevates them, but he doesn't take them from a shit position.
Yeah.
He takes them from an already strong position.
If he could take
to
a
the
team,
next
like if he
level.
went to Tottenham, who like famously can't win for shit,
It'd be interesting.
and got him some trophies,
I have zero faith he'd achieve
absolutely
anything, to
best
be honest
manager
with
in the
you.
world.
If he wins the Premier League with Tottenham, absolute goated. It's undisputed.
If he wins the fucking
Alright.
Challenge Super Cup or whatever with Tottenham.
But it depends how much money they spend there, in all fairness.
Well, that's
they're
the
still-
thing. Like, Man City have spent a lot of money, and there was a trend for a while that their ceiling was around the 50 million mark, wasn't it? And it was sort of their thing of like, we spend money, but we don't go obscene. But they have since.
Did you see the stat about their defence against Burnley?
Yeah, their starting defence cost more than the entire Burnley
spent-
in their history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, not their starting defence. City's net spend on total spend on defenders
Yeah.
ever is more than Burnley have ever spent on
Any player.
any players ever.
Altogether,
So
ever.
Burnley's entire club transfer history is like half as much as City's defenders club record history.
Yeah, there was that joke.
That was
for-
it, wasn't it, Ash?
Yeah, something like that.
There was
Yeah.
a joke running for a few years, wasn't there, that like Man City's spend on defence was a lot more than some nations around the world.
Well, in the
It
history,
could still.
please.
Ashley? Oh no, we haven't.
Hello.
Oh, he's there? Ash
Yeah,
has
it
not
may
left us.
Not just yet.
Don't leave us, Ash. We need you.
He can't lose you and his dad. It's too much.
Yeah, I do remember the episode where was his father figure.
Oh,
But I'm so
dear.
sorry.
I love that. I don't know how my sister will feel though. But we'll
Oh
find-
god, yeah, I forgot she listens. And I've propositioned your mum.
Yep, it's a good episode for
Right.
you.
She's never going
No,
to
personally,
forgive
I
me.
loved that. It reminded me of like literally. I think it was a couple of days after my dad passed away. I went to play football with you lot, and the first thing you lot did was make a joke about my dad.
Well, I mean, it's almost as bad as the first thing Alex said to me when our dad passed. That he's like, "I'm glad your dad's dead."
I'm so glad you remember it that way, because that was not Alex.
Oh, what was it? You?
No, it was definitely Alex.
Yeah, no, it was Alex. It was a dickhead thing to say.
Well, he apologised profusely. You know how
So
Alex
did both you and Alex violate Ash?
No, just Alex. In a pub.
Yeah,
Well,
it was in the pub.
for once I wasn't there, so
No, well, are
No,
you sure?
Yeah,
I might have been.
I
But
think
just
you. I
don't
think you.
recall
Think
it.
hard,
Got
Maestro.
crispy brain. Do you know what I mean?
def-
But
Anyway.
I've got one more thing to ask about Man City.
Oh, mate.
Can they make it 4 on the bounce? No one's done it before.
Hope so. I've got them in my my quadruple.
Have you?
I hope.
What's your quadruple? What, you think they're going to win 4 titles this season?
No, so I've backed a winner for each of the 4 leagues.
Oh, nice.
So I've got City in the Premier League,
Yeah.
who are doing very well, as we know.
Yeah.
Leicester in the Championship, who
Okay.
have started very well,
Yep.
as you know. Gillingham in League 2, who are top, started very well. And then Blackpool kind of let me down in League 1.
Right.
They've played 3, drawn 3.
Okay.
So they've not lost, but they've also they're yet to win a game.
Yeah.
But hey, baby.
Might be wrong.
Well, if Jake would for a second stop doing what all disgusting men do when there's something more important to talk about, which is women, I'd like to move on to a more important subject, if that's all right with you, Jake.
Does it involve women?
It does.
Does it involve fucking Man City?
No, for once.
Thank God.
Do you know what? I didn't realise I had so much to ask about Man City, but there you go.
We might as well just get sponsored by them at this point.
Half of the episode.
Who
This
needs,
is basically the podcast.
yeah, who needs Welcome to Wrexham when we're just doing Man City's dirty work for them?
Yeah.
Although we've not said nice things.
But lads, the ladies nearly did it.
Nearly.
Yeah, it was quite disappointing actually.
Yeah.
How much of it did you guys watch?
The game or the tournament?
The tournament.
Most of it.
Oh,
Ash?
barely any of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, any
fair.
of it. I literally watched the semis and the final.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Okay.
I watched most of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were well behind them.
Oh, well, and it was just like...
In my eyes.
What?
I said in multiple ways.
Oh, okay. Listen, you get a reputation sometimes, and I just want to distance myself from the Spanish head of the Spanish FA. Okay, we're two very different people. We do not have the same beliefs.
The thing is, you have a taste for younger women.
And listen, Jenny Hermoso is a very attractive woman, and I'm sure...
How dare you objectify her?
This shit. Do you know what, though? I think, genuinely, to congratulate Spain, because are you guys aware of the controversy around them before the tournament?
I am now in recent times, but please feel free to inform our listeners.
So and Ash, the very short version is 15 of the players of the squad kind of said, like, this is just ridiculous. The conditions and the toxicity
It was all
of
to do
the
with the
club.
manager, wasn't it?
And the bloke's a pig by all accounts. And they went, we're not going to play until a lot changes. So, like, one of the things I didn't realise was that they apparently weren't allowed to lock their doors while they were away on international duty. How rapey is that?
That's incredibly rapey.
Just a tad rapey.
Was there a reason behind the not being allowed to lock doors, or just no? You're just not. We're not. It's like Fight Club. We don't talk about it.
Before we got judged, was there a reason?
No, I don't. I mean, there probably was. Is, you know, something to do with, like,
Security,
team
or
building. You know, we've all
insurance,
got to be
willing
part
to
of a
take
community,
dick.
or yeah, we're willing to take a dick. And I'm so glad you said that, because I think it was an absolute travesty that you were taken off that women's football team. I genuinely can't believe they fired you.
Do you know what? Sometimes you're just a bit too honest, and it gets you in a bit of trouble. But I'm glad I wasn't there for what happened after they won.
But anyway, 15 of them wrote an open letter to the FA, Spanish FA, and said, we're removing ourselves from
We're
consideration.
not having this now.
We're not going to be selected because it's just you need to change the culture. So they kind of came in and said, okay, well, look, yeah, you should be able to lock your doors. And a few other things. I don't know the ins and outs of it. And then 8 of them said, okay, enough has changed that we're willing to be selected again.
Yeah.
3 of them were for the World Cup, and that was it.
Yeah, so they lost a lot, and it was some of their big players that pulled out, from what I heard.
And then the head of the Spanish affairs, I'm sure we've all seen, kissed Gianni
That's
Hermoso on
not
the
all
lips
he was doing though. Like,
at the end, and he went in for a kiss on a couple of the other players
Yeah.
in the celebrations afterwards, like cheek kisses and
he
stuff.
had his hands all over him. He was being very touchy feely, very overly affectionate, and I'm like, we were watching it, me, my mum, and Leanne, and we were like joking about it because I, in my head, this is how naive I am. I was like, well, he must know them all
Pretty well.
really well because otherwise, why the fuck would you be doing that when how many millions of people are watching? Because
To give people an idea, if you watched, to give people a good insight into
we
the
kissing?
podcast, I think. Well, I mean, we could. You're a very attractive man. I've got no problems with it. But if you watched the way he was with the players,
yeah,
very affectionate, very touchy-feely, that is what Big is like with us on a night out.
I mean, my mum actually said, "Is he going to rub his crotch on another one?" Because like one of them, he even picked up and was like manhandling her.
Ash, what do you make
Oh.
of it all?
Well, I didn't actually see any of it. I mean, I've seen the pictures of the kids.
Classic Arsene Wenger.
As soon as we lost, I turned over.
No, that's understandable.
I saw the final whistle. They all fell to the floor, and I was like, "Oh, that's it."
But I was almost surprised by the backlash though, because like I said, in my head I was like, well, he must know them really well. So when I then saw, I was like, oh, he's just a prick.
I just thought that's what they do in Spain.
Well, yeah, there was a bit of that. Like, is it just a continental thing? Do you know what I mean?
And this is how we celebrate.
Yeah, it's
Everyone
filthy.
take their trousers off.
Yeah, and then it was after that I then heard about the thing about the locked doors and all of that, and I was like, what? The Spanish is just
I've got to give
the FA's a bit rapey.
got to give the girls their due though. They did really well to get as far as they did. I mean, there were a couple of games that were really tight in the knockouts, and they just found that extra something. It was like watching the men's team. It was like, fucking hell, these are teams we should be beating. Fucking beat them.
Yeah,
But they did find a way to do it.
yeah.
To their
But
favour.
sadly, it didn't work out in the final.
Also, it was good crowds. Give them their dues. They had pretty packed stadiums, and these were 75, 80,000 seater stadiums.
Yeah.
So
I think it's definitely taken women's football to another level in terms of public consciousness, at least in this country.
yeah, possibly.
I think there was far more attention on this World Cup than I've ever seen for another women's tournament.
Yeah, well, they have been pushing it quite hard. I don't know. I did like the one clip in where the commentator was like, "There's not an empty seat in the house," and then the camera panned the players taking a throw in, and there was like a whole row of empty seats. So I was like,
They could have all just needed a wee, Ash.
"Well, it'd be impossible."
No,
They could have
but
been
no,
getting rid-
I can understand the comedic timing of it.
Let me ask you this on the Women's World Cup, or the final specifically. So there were some great scenes of the Queen of Spain celebrating with the Spanish players,
Oh, was that?
dancing up and down and
There's
getting
a
in
Queen of
amongst them.
Spain?
Yeah, or
didn't know there was
as
a
of
Queen
very,
of
very
Spain.
recently. Like,
What, they've just brought back the monarchy?
oh no, they had a king for a while.
Ah, right.
So she was there and she was dancing with them and playing with them. Now, no one from the UK went to watch the girls in the final.
Other than James Cleverly.
That doesn't really count.
Isn't he our foreign secretary?
And fucking Sunak even absolutely fumbled the tweet where he said, "Well done, you've left nothing out there." And it's like, right, that's not quite the saying, is it?
No.
That basically like a backhanded way of saying, well done for not trying, girls.
Yeah.
So do you think
Well, let's
Do you-
put it this way. If it was the Men's World Cup,
yeah,
the Prime Minister would have been there.
or a royal? I mean,
Yeah.
Prince William is like
The head
patron
of the FA.
yeah.
So Prince William should have been there.
What do you think, Ash? Fair criticism for no one going?
It's all politics, if you ask me.
What about royalty and
It
stuff?
doesn't bother me, like, maybe it bothers other people. Like I saw a picture of people complaining because the king and queen consort were at Sunday service or watching the game. I was like, he's a religious man. Like,
And
Well,
football
he's-
is a religion.
Well, technically, he is the head of the Church of England, isn't he?
exactly. I don't like. To me, it's not as much of an
But
issue.
I still think it stands. Like, I think most of the royal family would have been at the final. If it was a men's final, I think the Prime Minister would have probably been there. And I think that's what people's issue is. I don't think it's necessarily a matter of politics. I think it's the clear lack of
The apparent
interest in
sexism
equality.
almost, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, possibly. I mean, maybe I'm just being too naive, but
That's not a word I normally use for you, Ash. Pessimistic, maybe, but not naive.
Well, you join the club, Ash. There's a lot of naivety around this Women's World Cup, apparently, in this room, in this pod.
Why? Who else has been naive, Jake?
Just, I've heard rumours.
Have you?
I've heard rumours that some other people, apparently with the Spanish FA, were quite naive.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
They thought it was all just fair game.
Well, like, because in today's society, or any time that behaviour shouldn't be okay, but in today's society where it's so much in the public consciousness, and like, I don't think the excuse of emotions of the moment is enough because he didn't fucking do anything. Do you know what I mean? He just had to stand there and present them with medals.
Yeah.
And instead
maybe.
And like, a lot of women have made the point that it was a man in that moment making the moment about him and not letting the women just have their moment.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a fair argument. Mr. Ash, you were going to say something.
I said, did he smooch everyone or just the captain?
He kissed a couple of them on the lips, but
Jenny
most of them,
Hermoso was the one he kissed on the lips.
for the longest time,
And he kissed a couple of them.
on the cheek.
On the cheek
but
in
he
the
was
celebrations,
like grabbing
and
them
he
by
was-
the
yeah.
face, and he was picking them
He
up.
touched most of them.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's weird.
yeah.
It's pretty weird.
Especially if they're not close, and that shows how tone deaf he is. That they've had the issues with privacy and.
Well, it's not surprising
treatment.
at all that the manager's been backed by him when you see him reacting like that,
Well,
is
yeah,
it?
quite. But the thing is, it wasn't like, I'm not judging the Spanish because it wasn't that long ago from what I've listened to that England had similar issues with treatment of players from our own coaches. So it's not that long ago we didn't have our house in order.
Should we talk about the coach?
Please do, because there's been some almost. It's weird. It was a bit controversial, wasn't it? Because if you want to tell the people, Jake.
Yeah, well, she didn't kiss any of our players
No.
when they were getting their runner-up
Not
medal.
one, not even a cheeky finger.
Not a single one.
That's what I love about having Ash on. You just hear the occasional.
What am I telling the people about her consideration?
Yes.
The reports are, and this is a beautiful, empty thing, the reports are that Serena Wiegmann is being considered as a potential replacement for Gareth Southgate after the next men's tournament.
Yeah.
If he stands down, which is expected that he will.
Yeah.
Just hope so, anyway.
Would you take Ash off? Because you're probably the biggest Southgate critic here. Certainly you were the earliest Southgate critic out of the three of us. Would you take
I'd take
Wiegmann as a replacement?
I'd take anyone over Southgate. I don't think there's anyone you could say, this guy's replacing Southgate, and I'll be like, yeah, no. I'd rather Southgate. Like,
I
mean,
reckon I
she's
could find someone.
I can't really.
Who's Jose Mourinho?
I'd take Jose.
I'll take
As
Mourinho.
long as
Really? What over? You love Southgate though.
I don't love him.
I mean, you bang on about that waistcoat like nothing else.
The
Do you
man
know?
pulled off a weight. Like, listen. Okay, that man's
And
done
that's
more
his
for men's
biggest
fashion. He's
achievement
more
as
than
England
men's
manager.
fashion. Took us to a final, and I'm not. I know it might not have been the toughest run,
I
but
think that's a generous.
I'm
way
not.
To put it.
I'm not mad the fact that I got to experience watching an England play in the final.
No, I get that.
into the final. I mean,
I love Ash's sweeping
It didn't unfold
declarations.
brilliantly.
I think Serena Wiegmann showed something that Southgate hasn't got in the final, and it didn't work for her, but at least she gave it a go, which was tactical nous.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, both of you, that might be a bit controversial, but that's what I'm here for. Stir the pot.
Please
Get
do.
them ratings up.
go on.
Do you think so? Serena Wiegmann, Wiegmann, however you want to pronounce
Yeah.
it, in her international managerial career, has taken England and Holland both to great success.
Yeah.
So she's won things with two national sides, and she's taken them to like 4. So as a manager, she played in like 4 consecutive finals, like a Euros, a World Cup, a Euros, a World Cup, and she's won a few of them as well.
Yeah.
Does that showcase her coaching brilliance, or show how good a coach she is, or does it highlight how weak the competition in the women's game is?
Oh,
I mean, for me personally, I think probably what it indicates is the overall standard of coaching might not be as high as in the men's game, for example. And the only reason I say that because it's not very often that happens in the men's game, that one person comes along and then dominates. I mean, we sort of had it with Pep, but he's not done it at the international level. And to be honest with you, we rarely see male managers go from one international team to the other and win with both nations. So I think what she's done is incredible. I think she's clearly a quality coach. Like I said, she showed a level of tactical awareness that Gareth Southgate lacks at times and in the big moments for me.
And just quick, she got us to the final after losing for the quarters and the semis.
Our best player.
Our best player.
Yeah. So and we went into the tournament missing key players.
Yeah, Leah Walsh was a huge...
So she's shown she's clearly a quality coach.
Leah Williams.
So I think I would have no issue of her being considered for the England job, to be honest with you. The way I heard that answer from the FA was, if she wins the World Cup...
It's empty, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and also I've thought in my head, I was like, if she wins the World Cup with England...
Maybe. And Ash, same question to you. Do you think it's... And look, it's not a close question. It can be a little of both, but do you think it's more showcasing how good she is or highlighting how bad the standard is?
I think it's both. But I mean, she's a really good coach in the women's game. I'd like to see how she's doing in the men's game, because I think they're two kind of different sports.
I think I think the men's game's probably more technical.
I think the biggest thing the men's
it's faster paced
in England as the national side. I think the biggest thing we need is someone who can come in and get us over the line mentally.
Yeah.
I think we get in our own way. You look at the 2 finals, with the semi-final in the World Cup and then the final in the Euros. We got to that point in the tournament by playing a certain way, and then we stopped. I don't think it was tactical. I think it was mental. We looked scared.
Yeah.
Scared of the occasion. That's how I saw it. That's how I remember it. No, in the men's. So when we played in Russia in the semi-final against Croatia, and then when we played in the final against Italy, we'd gotten to those points by playing a certain way, and then we just looked scared of the occasion, and we couldn't string passes together. We couldn't.
The problem was we went goal up in both of those games.
Yeah. And then we defended.
Oh.
Well,
we should never run our defence, especially when Maguire's back there. I mean, come on.
No, I mean, for me, I've always felt, particularly in more recent times with the men's England team, we have a pool of attacking talent, not as strong in defence. So for me, I think, particularly in modern football, the best defence is being good on the attack. High press. I think we play completely the wrong strategy, but I also have no qualifications.
You've got some tactical knowledge, Rich. Come on. You play
you're a snake on FM, but you do play. I can't not bring it up.
I'm ambitious.
Have you ever stayed at a club?
I do a good job at every club I'm at.
And then you leave.
Yeah, but I leave them in a far better state than I found them.
But you do leave.
Yeah. I've got no shame in that. Everyone leaves a football club, Jake. Everyone.
You told me you destroy their finances.
Not anymore.
Don't you go back and raid their players as well for the ones that you like?
Yeah, for much more than what I bought them for to them. I'll sign a little gem to a team for, I don't know, 2 or 3 million, and then when I go elsewhere, if I've got the money, I'll give them 30, 40 for them.
For all we know, Dick was in the man behind that Elise contract with a 35 mil release clause. That's all Dick was
I can't confirm nor deny.
Do you know what? Can I just say my favourite thing about the Elise thing was that there was no rumours or speculation. It was just announced.
It just happened, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And from what I've heard and understand, he was never actually as nailed on to go to Chelsea as the media and Fabrizio Romano would have had you believe. And he was more than happy to stay at Palace. I think there's an understanding that there's a certain number in mind for next season. If that comes in, we'll wish him well. But I was really pleased to see Palace held on to him. It's a shame he's injured at the moment.
Like I say, it was just a beautiful thing that there was no rumours or speculation. They just literally, the chairman announced he signed a new contract. It was beautiful.
Our fans are a little bit pissing me off at the moment, though, because we went from Parrish is the worst owner on the planet and he's holding the club back to he's the best operator in the league.
It's what happens when you get, I mean, sport is fickle, football is fickle, but when you get to the top level, and we are Premier League, and we are now consistently Premier League, to the point that we have got fans who never saw us play. They're adults and they've never seen us play in the Championship, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Suddenly the fickleness comes at you fast.
Yeah.
Fickle and fast.
I don't think it helps that you guys are watching Brighton go out there.
Oh,
when you see Brighton signing players for 4 mil, selling them for 115, it does make you go, come on, guys. Can we not get a bit of this?
Yeah.
But they're also owned by one of the best statisticians in the country and very successful businessman. So
he managed to get 115 million quid for
a player he signed 2 years before.
Was it Caicedo?
Yeah. I mean, what do we think about the money being thrown around at the moment, particularly
it's
by
got
Chelsea?
a break.
It's shocking. It's so bad.
Caicedo, under any metric, is not 115 million pounds.
Just feels
player.
like it's going to break.
Not even in potential, really, for me anyway. Like if you said his best level, is he a £100 million player? No.
You know what it is? It's one of those where you make an inquiry on a player or an FM, and they come back with something ridiculous.
Yeah, they're like, oh, they'll never say yes to this. And every time you do that, when like you're the guy trying to sell a player, and you're like, I'm just going to throw a number out there that there's no way on God's green earth they say yes to, and then they say yes to it, and you're like, oh fuck, I didn't want him to go. Whereas with Brighton, I feel like they're like every single one of these players can go because we've got
5 lined up. Yeah. No, it pains me how well they're doing.
Yeah,
but it feels to me like it's going to break. It feels like it can't. There's no way they can't drain any more money out of us.
Yeah.
And let's face it, we're the ones that pay through the sponsorship deals, through the TV money, we pay.
Yeah.
And sooner or later, we're going to stop paying.
I think, though, with the source of money in football, and I don't know what Ash thinks about this, I think the sort of dial swinging from the main money in football is from fans to its external money, its ownership, its investment, it's all money that doesn't actually exist in the game. It's all coming from elsewhere. Do you know what I mean? Like Man City wouldn't be where they are. Like they don't have, like they say they're one of the most successful clubs financially on the planet. No, they're not, because most of their money comes from their owners through the guise of a sponsorship or a friend's company or whatever it might be. None of that's real. It's fake. What Chelsea are doing is fake.
You'd expect the Prem or FA or Fever to come onto that eventually. And although I don't think
I guess so. I mean, I don't think they've got any desire to catch on to it, though. I think other countries have taken a hard line on it. Like if you look at Spain and the way Barcelona have had to change the way they do business to a degree.
It's like sold all their TV rights to their own company.
Yeah.
So they stopped that.
Yeah. But like, it seems like if it's going to happen, it happens quickly. I don't think the Premier League has any interest whatsoever in restricting any of it. I think it to them adds to the value level.
Yeah, it's all just a cash cow for
I think what people don't think about, though, and I've said it for a long time, is the second Sheikh Mansour decides he's no longer getting whatever
that club's
it is
not
he needs
viable
out of Man City, they go out of business.
Yeah.
If he withdraws funding from that club, they go bust. They have not got the revenue, the actual revenue,
to sustain the way they're doing it.
I don't know, because what it struck me is a situation happened where just eventually every Prem team was all by Americans.
Maybe.
And they to the NFL or some shit, the MLS, where there's no promotion or relegation.
I think that then kills the sport, though, because I think what makes football,
That was the Super League, wasn't it?
yeah, but is the jeopardy of it.
Yeah. Oh, I love promotion and
Yeah,
relegation.
like,
Yeah.
and it means so much to the fans. If you take that away, then what's the point?
And what's the excitement at the end of the season? Like last season for like Leeds fans on the
Yeah.
last day of the season. Where's their excitement if they know nothing's going to
Yeah.
happen other than they just get moved in the draft position or
Because
something?
otherwise, halfway through the season, if everything's going tits up, what happens? Nothing. You won't change your
I don't-
manager because you don't need to. You'll just say, all right, well, we know what we need to improve next season. You'll just take the beatings until you can change it.
Might as
Yeah, but
well.
I don't know. They just want the money at the end of the day. They just see it as a way of making money.
Yeah. But then you might as well just throw the last. If you're doing shit, you might as well keep throwing the game so you get, if they do a draft system and they go full NFL, so you get the first pick.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck it. Well, we're not winning
I don't know
anyway.
if
Might as
we've
well
got
just
the
lose.
infrastructure for that, though, have we?
No, probably not. But I was reading the other day, and I don't know how accurate it is, but apparently the setup in the Saudi Arabian League is that the league buys the players, and
yeah,
then
and then they assign
and then
it to
assign
a
them to
player.
the team.
To a team, yeah, that's exactly what they do.
So the Premier League could adopt that model.
Yeah, I think it would have to look very different. It would have to be Super League-esque, wouldn't it? Or NFL.
But that's what we're
style
talking
where-
about.
Yeah,
We're talking about moving
Yeah.
to an NFL style.
yeah. But if that happens, I've got to be honest. For me personally, I'd have no interest in it whatsoever.
No, I'd switch to
if the
lower
football
league,
period,
non-league,
yeah, if
EFL.
that still existed outside of it and there was promotion and relegation, well, I'll quite happily go and watch that. To be honest with you.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm close to that anyway.
Yeah, the money is. I've got to be honest. The money in the top level of the game is really putting me off the top level of the game.
Like, it's always been obscene. Like, even when we were young, players going for like 30 million was like the top whack, and even then, that was like
They had to be world
that's
class.
absurd money. But now, like, players are just going for 100 million.
Now,
like it's nothing.
The worrying thing is, and
Yeah.
I'm being really realistic now. Here I am, 31 years old. I'm not that good of a footballer,
Yeah,
but if I had a contract with a Premier League club, I would probably be sold for somewhere in the region of I'd get double figures.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'd probably get 10, 15 million pounds
yeah,
as a 31-year-old who's not very good.
yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Did you
That
just
used to
age
be a-
a year during the podcast? You were 30 a second ago.
Definitely was not. But I appreciate you thinking I look younger.
I would have thought you
Yeah.
looked in your early 20s, to be fair.
But honestly, it's like, I remember when, in the championship, and I know that's the championship, it's like the second division. I remember when you would spend like £6 million and you were bringing in the top of the top for that league.
Mm.
Yeah.
And now that's a small fee for the
And
championship.
people older than us can remember when, the first £1 million players, the first batch, I don't mean the first player, but the first batch
Yeah.
of players that went for £1 million, and it was like, cool, they're all going for £1 million now.
Yeah.
Madness.
But yeah, it's just got to a level.
So maybe
that
it won't break.
It's not sustainable.
Because
It can't be.
people probably had that conversation back in the 90s, didn't they? Players are going for 2 or 3 million now. It's ridiculous. This won't be
No, but there's
sustainable.
not really enough trillionaires to buy football clubs. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's enough billionaires, yes, but there's not enough trillionaires. Do you know what I mean? There's not enough Arab nation states.
Who want to buy football clubs?
Yeah, unless they all just own all of them. But yeah. What do we think about what's happening in Saudi? Oh, are you guys worried about it? What it means for the
No.
Premier League?
I'm not.
I thought Simon Jordan, our favourite pundit, had an interesting take on it. That he wasn't worried about the transfer fees because they were quite menial. Like, they're not spending big amount really.
Well, they are on wages. They've completely
Yeah,
distorted the
that was
wage
what-
market.
That's what he was worried about, the wages. Because players might start thinking, well, why should I play for 100 grand a week when I can get 400 grand a week?
I do get that. But I do think
Well, it's also the tax situation as well. They're losing 40%, 50% in this country. Whereas if you go to Saudi, if you get 700 grand a week, you get 700 grand a week.
Exactly. They realize that they can work for 10 years.
early
well,
enough,
probably 2
Uh,
years,
people
and they're sorted.
there are a lot of players that want to go and earn a payday, but I think there's an awful lot more that want to compete.
Well, I think Neymar made a big statement. Not Neymar, Mbappe, sorry, made a big statement by
By not
turning them
going.
down. And I'm not a fan of Mbappe's, but I did respect turning down nearly £1 billion.
I'll tell you what's the most annoying thing to me about the whole Saudi thing is that some of the top players that have gone there and then have said, you know, this is life-changing money. Mate, if you're on 50, 60 grand a week upwards,
Yeah.
you don't get to talk about life-changing money.
No, I get that. The thing is, though, I sort of understand the argument of generational wealth, but you've still had if you've invested your money intelligently during your career,
If you don't touch your money, do you know how long, what they earn in a year,
could last
how
one
long
of us.
my entire family would have to work
Yeah.
just to earn that and not pay any bills or anything?
Yeah.
It's like, no, come on, man. You
Yeah.
don't get to talk
Yeah.
about... That's
And
how
your
I
family-
feel. Don't know how you guys feel.
Ash?
Yeah, I mean, them saying that they've got hard life or it's life changing money is ridiculous. I mean, come on, you're
Yeah.
already on.
Yeah, look at Hendo.
The Henderson one, I think, really hit different, didn't it? Because he was quite outspoken about LGBTQ plus rights, and
Yep.
it happened very quickly. It felt like as well, like literally the offer came in, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm off."
Yeah, I need a new challenge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. How to
Like
spend
spending
£1 million
£700,000,
a day?
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's obscene, man. And like I said, the fact that, fair enough, for anyone under, I would say, anyone under 150, and I'm being generous here, but anyone under £150,000 a year, fair enough, you can talk about life-changing amounts. If you're earning £150,000 or more, which is about 15 grand a month,
Yeah,
if you're earning 15 grand a month more, you don't get to talk about life-changing amounts of money. You just can't.
no.
It's so
No.
tone deaf as well in a world where, like, a lot of people are struggling more so than ever before, certainly in like countries like this.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, it's how out of touch all these
Yeah.
rich footballers are with the average person, the average Joe.
Yeah.
yeah. But if you listen to the footballers talk about their upbringings, they're not socialised. They aren't connected to what's
No,
going
they
on
play-
outside
it's
of
football.
their football clubs. Their existence from 10 or even younger up until their 30s is football. They're not socialised.
Yeah.
They don't know what people's normal lives are like.
No, but that's what I mean. That's how disconnected
Yeah,
the rich from
yeah.
average people.
Were you disappointed as someone who follows Liverpool, Ash, to see Hendo go?
The problem is, I was happy that we got transfer fee for him.
No, I
But-
understand that.
I was disappointed that he went to Saudi after all the shit he's been pushing, especially before the World Cup.
Yeah,
Yeah, he made a big thing
Um,
about the Qatar, ahead of the Qatar.
yeah.
Yeah, and then he decides to sell his soul, basically.
Do we think Saudi has legs?
As the league,
Yeah, because like
no.
we've had this.
I think
happen
it's
before.
China. Isn't it?
I disagree. I think they're going for it.
Oh, they're putting
I
more
think
in.
The thing is, China was different because China didn't want. I think the government got involved in that, and they didn't want Chinese money.
All things business in
outside.
China run through the government. The government owns 50% of every single company in China, and they make all
Yeah.
strategic decisions. It was a directive from the Chinese government for China to invest in football internally and abroad. And it was China, the government, that decided for them to withdraw their money. It was why a string of clubs in England went from being some of the richest clubs in England to suddenly having no money.
Yeah, I don't reckon.
I don't think that's what the Saudis
I think
are
you're
doing, though.
more. I think, and I know money talks, and there are a lot of players that are going to be attracted by that. But I still, and look, this is beautiful because this is a lovely, complete moment. You've displayed your moment of naivety. Ash has displayed his moment of naivety, and I'm about to show you my moment of naivety. Maybe I am being naive. But I believe that there are majority of players, and when I say majority, I know there's a large number who are driven by money.
Yeah,
But I think there's a majority of players who are more likely to go to America so they can play against Messi because they still see him as one of the best in the world,
yeah.
and than to go to Saudi just for the money where everyone's just taking a payday. They're not even taking... I'm not knocking their work ethic, but...
No, but there is a number of decent... I mean, Neymar's now in Saudi, Ronaldo's in Saudi, Mahrez is in Saudi. There's like it's an illustrious list of players that have gone out. Benzema's out there. Like, so that they're not low on quality.
Let me put this to both of you. I'll start with Ash first. I put a contract on the table and let's pick a league. Let's say Italy.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got a contract.
Am I in the Serie A?
Yeah, Serie A. So you've got a contract at a decent Serie A club. They're not going to go down. They might challenge for something. I'm not going to be specific about what club. You've got a contract. Well, you've got a contract for Fiorentina, let's say, on the table for 50 grand a week, and you've got a contract from the Saudi league offering you 500 grand a week. Which one are you going to sign?
Wait, what am I on? 50 or 15?
5-0 at Fiorentina.
So you're at a random team, Ash. You're being offered a contract by Fiorentina for 50 grand a week, or the Saudis.
Not even a random team, right? You know, you're yet to play a game. Where are you going?
I'm going to Fiorentina. I might ask for a bit more though.
Is that because you feel that that's enough money and you want to play competitively, or is it money or football, or what's the decision there?
I prefer the European league. I mean, the Saudi league is nothing basically
at the moment.
Me.
And now the same question.
I want the European competition. That's where the best teams are.
I think living in Florence would be awesome as well.
And now, the same question to you. You've got a contract for Fiorentina.
I think I can live with 50 grand a week.
Or you've got a contract for... Even though the Saudis are telling you, come in on the ground floor, we've got Ronaldo, we've got Neymar.
The other thought experiments like we've posed previously are, would I currently, in my current situation, take 700 grand a week to go live in Saudi?
Yeah, but you take 50, yeah.
But if 50's on the table from somewhere else, without
let's change that slightly then. What about if you were on £5,000 a week, which is still 20 grand a month, still a considerable amount, but in footballing terms, it's not a lot.
No.
Are you going to Fiorentina? And you're offered the same level of, you'll be involved in the first team, the same amount at either side. Are you going to Fiorentina, or are you going to? In terms
of pros and cons, it's still a lot of money. It's Florence.
It's a better
lifestyle,
better quality of football.
Well, that
the thing is, you could buy Florence for eventually. How long is my contract with Saudi League?
I don't know what the average contract is over there.
They're giving out 3-4 years minimum.
Yeah, let's call it 4 years.
Okay, it depends how old I am then. Because if I'm nearing the end of my career, then probably.
You're going Saudi, are you?
Yeah, if I'm still younger.
Well, he's being honest.
I want to spend my best years out there.
No, that's understandable.
I think that's all they can do is that's the only market they can compete with are players who have given up on their careers and just want the payday. I don't think they can attract the best young players, and I don't think they ever will, because I think, like Ash said, I think Europe and the Champions League are still the draw.
Yeah, I think for the majority you're probably right. But my thing is more about what the Saudis' intentions are, and I think their intentions are to make this last longer. We don't even know how much money they have. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's barely numbers to this. Like, they've got a bottomless pit of money that it would take an extraordinary amount of spending to put a real dent in. So, I then look at Live Golf and the way they've taken over the sport of golf, and I think, to be honest with you, if they were being honest, that's what they'd like to do with football.
Yeah.
And I think they've got the resources to make it happen if they're willing to spend enough of it. And I think football's very much for sale.
Yeah, if they could turn the Saudi League into like the global football competition.
Well, they're already in negotiations with UEFA to have a Saudi team introduced into the Champions League.
That I would hate.
So,
yeah, I mean, that happens.
That doesn't sit right with me.
All that requires for that to happen is for the Saudis to write a big enough check that everyone
this
gets
is the right money changing the right hands. But I would really hate that.
And to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. And I
don't believe Fantino would do that. He seems like a stand-up guy. I don't.
Today, I feel Arab.
Today, I feel poor.
Not anymore.
Now.
But yeah, I mean, it's fucked. But I look forward to watching Championship football when the Premier League breaks away into a Super League, and Palace might, if they're lucky, be included in that, but I hope they're not. I hope they're in the Championship and have been relegated at that point.
Thanks for your belief. I know it's coming from a good place.
Yeah, I don't want to lose Palace to the Super League. Do you know what I mean? We'll be in the new First Division.
Who's going to become your new team? Your new local?
My new Carl Shorten Athletic.
Not Sutton.
Or are you going to be?
Carl Shorten's closer.
Yeah, but Sutton's higher up in the league.
That doesn't matter.
You always like Pompey.
Yeah, Pompey, like.
I do like Pompey, but I don't live anywhere near them.
Who's supposed to go live near them?
You said my local.
Maybe.
Okay, who's going to be your new team then?
Well, it depends where Fulham would be. If Fulham were not in the Super League,
Let's say everyone in the Premier League right now is Super League.
Yeah, that's an easy blanket to throw.
It's a really interesting choice. I actually don't know what the answer to that would be.
No?
No.
What about you, Ash?
Maybe Bromley.
Bromley.
Who you going now?
Well, I actually want to go see St Austell
Yeah.
go play. I'll go watch them, but I'd probably be Plymouth or Exeter. I like
Okay.
Plymouth. At them.
They're doing
But I
all right
think
as well, aren't they? They're in the Championship.
And just so you know, St Austell are destroying it.
Wow, I'm pleased to hear it.
Have they got a nickname, Ash?
The
Brewers?
Lily White.
The Lily
They've
Whites.
got the-
Big up the
Feels a
Lily
bit-
Whites.
Feels a bit potentially
Lawsuit-ish.
problematic. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
once them Saudis start getting their lawyers involved.
At least it's not the All Whites. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I thought we were talking about like copyright from Fulham, but yeah.
I wasn't. No, I was more thinking racially.
Fulham's not the award.
No, they're the Lilies, though, aren't they? Lily Whites.
No, Fulham are the Cottagers.
No, but
those are Lily.
I thought Leeds were the Lily Whites.
this is not a conversation I was expecting to have.
Look, when we founded this podcast, it was like a pub discussion. This is
exactly
how
a pub discussion.
would go.
We need about 4 more points each.
Right, let's speed round this a little bit. Harry Kane going to Bayern Munich. What do we think?
Best decision for his career.
Yeah, despite not winning a trophy
In his first game, that did feel
It was
very
very
in the
Spursy.
stars, didn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've sort of silently, haven't I, in the background tipped that there's a chance Bayern Munich don't win the league this season.
It would be very Spursy.
And then Tottenham win
Fact
the
is, though,
Carabao Cup.
he could get a horrendous injury. There's no guarantee he'd catch Shearer's record. Shearer's record is just a Premier League record. It's not an English record, goal scoring record.
Yeah.
And he's got to go. It's good to go and prove yourself elsewhere and compete against other leagues.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'd go just because I'd rather live in Munich than fucking London. But
That's the first.
Yeah,
shout.
I wouldn't mind living in Munich.
No. And he'll be a star out there. The people will love him.
They really reacted well. Oh, by the way, did you guys see Malaga? The Malaga fans.
Oh, announcing the signing of a random person.
Yeah, just going to
passing
the
through
airport and just picking up whoever they could to protest the fact that their club haven't signed anyone.
Because they've been relegated to Division 3. That's another example of a club that had a rich benefactor that pulled out.
But yeah, they just went to the airport and just started handing out shirt signings with and just cheering and taking photos.
It's good value. It's good.
It's great.
It's good wholesome
Great.
content.
Sorry,
isn't
you
it?
carry on with your speed round.
No, it's all right.
you got to love.
Yeah. the humour.
So is it a foregone conclusion Harry Kane will now finish his career with silverware in his cabinet?
Yeah.
No, he's going to end up trophyless.
I mean, it would be so funny.
Bayern Munich have their worst.
I feel like
depression as a club.
at the very least he picks up. If he's there
Can you
2 years, he picks up at least like a
imagine
charity
3
shield.
years' time from now, Bayern have somehow not won a trophy. Tottenham have won a couple since, and the conversation becomes: was Harry Kane the problem all along?
I mean, Postecoglou's getting a fucking statue.
Yeah.
If that
Imagine if from international football and then we won the World Cup.
Could you
That would be
imagine?
pretty.
be glorious.
What do we think of Ange?
That's the, can I just say
Do
the
we
first
think he's the man to lead Spurs
first thing
away?
Serena Bergman comes in and does is like, get that cursed boy away from my team.
Yeah.
Do I think?
Yeah.
And I like him.
I like the cut
Yeah, I
of
think-
his jib, is what I would say.
Mm.
Like if he was
I can-
if he was the Palace manager, I'd be more than happy with him. Just in terms of, you can tell sometimes when people kind of the way they carry themselves that they've got presence, and I can imagine he's quite intimidating to work for.
Yeah, I see them Spurs going back to their Pochettino days.
Yeah, but he does want to play very expansive attacking
Yeah.
football. He did that at Celtic, but it was only
Slapped up
Celtic. That's the
United.
no disrespect to the Scottish League, but it was Celtic.
Yeah.
But he's saying all the right things. You know,
Yeah.
when he came in and he was like, "Oh, the real shame is I've had to pull out of my fantasy football league because I am now. It's not a fantasy for me. I am now a manager."
Yeah.
And him saying,
Of course, because he could influence.
"Yeah, decisions."
couldn't
And he
he?
said all his friends are texting him, going like, "Who's starting? Who's injured?" Blah blah blah. And he said, but also saying he was asked about the fans singing his name,
Yeah.
and he said, "It's really lovely, but it's blind faith. I haven't earned it. I've got to earn that, and I hope that
Yeah.
I do. But I've
The
got
thing
no
is,
right
so
to it."
far in his career, at every stage, he's been mocked. Like when he got his first job I think it was his first big job was in Japan.
I think so.
Apparently, he got ridiculed when that happened. Smashed it in Japan. Then I think he went back to Australia, did well in Australia. Then he's gone to Celtic again. Everyone was like, "What the fuck are they do?" He didn't even have the right qualifications to take the Celtic job at the time. Done well. He won the title back from Rangers, and now probably just going to do an okay job with Spurs.
It's a tough job.
Like everything about him seems like he could do a good job. I think their transfers are okay. I mean, it's obviously never going to be a good window when you lose Harry Kane, but it was always. I think they've done very well. It's Levy, isn't it, to get the 100 mil with 1 year left.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah,
That was a big gamble to make as Levy to be willing to die on that hill.
and the Indians don't even spend that kind of money.
No, they don't.
No.
That's why, at his age, I was surprised.
I read an article by a former footballing director, and it was really good, really insightful. And they said Daniel Levy, they were like, he has this reputation with his fans as, not signing any of it, but there is no one I hated going into the boardroom, going into negotiations with more than Daniel Levy, because he got what he wanted. If he wanted a player at a certain price,
He got him
as
for
much
that
as I
price.
hated it, he'd get them from us.
Yeah.
And if he wanted to buy a player, sell a player, and we wanted them, even though we knew we had no intention of spending that money that he's asking for, ultimately he'd get it out of us.
Yeah.
And he was a bastard in the negotiations.
But no, I mean, he's done a good job getting 100 mil for Harry Kane.
But Ange, I like Ange.
Yeah, me too.
I think he'll do all right.
Yeah.
How are you feeling, Ash, with
How are you feeling, Ash? How are you
with
feeling?
Jude Bellingham lighting up La Liga already?
The only thing that bothers me is that where the fuck did we find this 111 mil? Where was it at the start of the season?
It was sort of
Oh.
at the end of last season. It was being mooted, wasn't it? Like the fee was just over 100 mil. Liverpool were like, we just don't have it.
But Caicedo, love it.
Yeah.
Between that then and then, Liverpool sold half their midfield, which they weren't expecting to do. They didn't know the Saudis were going to come and give them nearly 80 million for their midfield.
No, we've only got 50 mil. for Saudi.
The professionalism.
I leant on a button. Sorry, guys, that made me jump. Absolutely
Did you?
shit myself. Oh, yeah. I was like, what the fuck is
Honestly,
that?
go to YouTube and watch his face.
Jesus. Oh, I thought something was happening, you know.
I thought I must have misheard what Ash said because you've given him a sound effect.
No, I just leaned on a button. Oh,
Once again, the professionalism on this
oh
one.
mate, it shines through.
So
It does.
yeah, but I'm happy for Bellingham
Yeah,
killing it.
I mean, everything you see
But I
about
understand
him-
your position, not of it could have been yours kind of thing.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
for Liverpool fans, given that they do have the money now,
And they have gaps in midfield.
yeah, it's like we should have just put the house on Jude.
Yeah.
But I
And
to
now
be
we-
honest with you, I don't know if you'd have got him, considering that you didn't get Champions League.
I think we would have.
Maybe.
Maybe that's my naivete.
I
Yeah,
think
I
that
think
is your naivete, Ash.
Look at this.
I don't know. I reckon we would have. Because
Just three
him
men
and-
being honest
Yeah,
about
look at
our flaws.
3 bros being vulnerable.
Yeah, it's impressive.
It is impressive. Oh, you mean the vulnerability?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Right. So, shall we very quickly, to end the pod, do
All
a
strip
quick
off.
run through
No, we'll do your thing. Yeah, we'll do
of
your thing.
where we think people are going to finish?
Sure.
Go on.
Right. So,
Do we have to be specific with numbers or just positions in the league? You
I'm
know?
going to
you
say
just-
first, and I want both of you to tell me
Okay.
who you think's going to fit. Like, I'll just go through the positions. Should I start from the bottom and work my way up,
You,
or
you-
top to down?
Usual.
What was that?
I said, as per usual, standard big move. Bottom up.
bottom up.
Bottom. Behave yourself, Ash. This is a family show.
You and I both know full well it's not.
No, it's absolutely not. Right. 20th. I've put Sheffield
Luton.
United.
Luton. Me and Ash
Yeah,
both.
Luton all
I hope
day.
I don't think they'll break the record. I don't think they'll break Derby's record.
Right. At 19th, I've put Luton.
19th, based on what I saw the first 2 weeks, Sheffield United.
Cool.
Yeah.
So,
I've got to get the fucking
So
league.
so
stuff
far
out.
we're similar.
on it.
Need to see what teams even exist in the league. My memory's shocking.
At 18th, I've put Everton.
Coming
so
in
the
at 18
final-
this week.
The final
Oh,
relegation spot.
fucking want Everton to go down. I hate them.
After their first two, shocking.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna.
And their business is shit.
So you're both going Everton.
Yeah, they just got rid of Mari Gray as well. He's gone Saudi. I mean,
Oh, has it?
what a loss.
I didn't
I'll
hear
tell you
that
who I'm-
one.
Tell you who I'm going.
Go on.
Because Everton always escape. They're fucking
going
dicks.
Forest,
I
aren't
hate
you?
them. No, I'm going Wolves.
Ooh.
I really like Gary
Yeah.
O'Neill, but I don't think he can save what's happening there.
No, that's fair. In
I reckon-
17th, I've put Wolves.
17th for me, Everton.
Okay.
Put Wolves 17.
So we're along the same similar lines at the moment. It's going to be. I think it's going
It's
to.
interesting no one's put Chelsea down the bottom.
Well,
They could have.
It might not be
They
far
could
off.
have.
Going out there.
At 16th, I've got Nottingham Forest.
Burnley.
Burnley for Ash.
Burnley.
Because we can come back to this at a later date.
I think Forest.
Forest. Okay, so Jake's going the same as me.
To my own detriment.
In 15th, I put Bournemouth.
15th for me. This is where it starts to get a bit tricky. Ash, got any thoughts?
I would put Forest in 15th.
I am going to put.
I don't know actually.
I'm going to put Fulham. Big call, given how well they did last year.
But they haven't got Mitrovic this season.
Yeah, his goals were quite important.
In 14th, I've put Fulham.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay, not a million miles off.
No,
In 14th, who did you guys have in 15th?
I put Bournemouth.
Bournemouth. And Ash, who did Ash have?
Forest. I had
Forest.
Forest.
So 15th, no, 14th. 14th, I'm going to go. Yeah, it probably is Bournemouth. Hang on, have I got Burnley down there?
No.
I'm going to go Burnley then.
Okay.
Sorry for making you change your writing.
It's all right. Ash?
What are we doing
14th.
13th?
No, 14th.
Did I not do 14th?
No, you've given me 15th, which was Forest.
Oh, Fulham are 14th.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
I must have missed that. In 13th, I've put Burnley. I think they've made some good signings, and I like Vincent Kompany.
Ash?
13th. This is tricky.
I'm going
I think I've
Bournemouth.
Oh, yeah, Bournemouth has been in there.
They've spent some money,
Yeah.
but I don't know enough about their manager to rate them highly enough.
Yeah, let's put Bournemouth in 13th. Oh, I still got fucking Palace. Hang on.
I know where Palace are going for me.
I resisted the urge for that. I put them there initially. At 12th,
Yeah.
I've put West
Dude.
Ham.
Bournemouth, that's two.
Okay, I've put you down for Bournemouth at 13. I've put West Ham at 12.
Palace at 12.
Palace.
So you've both gone for Palace in their traditional
I
position.
like to keep it traditional.
I mean, they're lucky they're not going lower. If I'm honest, but-
In 10th, I put Chelsea.
10th, West Ham.
Really?
Yeah, I put Chelsea. I don't think they've got... Oh, sorry. It's number
11. isn't it?
11, sorry,
Yeah,
my bad.
West Ham. for me.
11th, I've put Palace.
Oh,
Jake's put West Ham. What about you, Ash?
Brentford.
Ooh. Is that because of no, what's his chops?
No, Tony.
Tony, that's the one.
Yeah.
Right, so 10th, I put Chelsea.
Do you know what? Chelsea.
Yeah. I think they've made too many changes. They've lost in Cuckoo, and I just don't rate their squad.
Yeah, I'm going to throw Chelsea there as well.
It's fair. It's an improvement on last season because I think they've improved their squad, but I don't think they're that much better. 9th, I put Brentford.
9th. I would also say Brentford.
West Ham.
Wow.
I
Is that
like it,
more that
though.
you forgot West Ham up until this point? Because that was an issue I had when I wrote my list. Because I was forgetting teams until I got further up the table, and then I was like, oh, wait, I need to readjust.
No, West Ham, no.
In 8th, 8th, I've put Spurs.
Villa.
Oh, wow.
I just think losing that many goals from Harry Kane, unless they can replace him between now and the end of the window, they're just going to drop.
Villa, yeah. I'm going to stick Villa down there.
Cool. In 7th position, I put Villa.
I'm putting Brighton. I don't think they've got the squad to sustain a European run and the league, but I think they've got a chance to do well.
Was this 7th?
Yeah.
United.
Oh, interesting.
Love it.
I've
Yeah,
put Brighton at 6th.
I'd put Spurs.
I'm going to stick Brighton at 6 as well.
Brighton, wicked. In 5th, I've put United.
United.
Spurs.
Wow. 4th, I've put Newcastle.
Oh, fuck, I forgot about Newcastle. Do you know what? I'm going to put Newcastle 5th and United 4th.
Okay.
Oh, you guys are hopeful for United.
I just think with the amount of money they've spent, they have to finish.
Can I
that
tell you
high.
why I'm doing it? Because a few
Go on.
years ago, Big said that
They'd hit the top 4.
they'd hit the top 4, and I mocked him relentlessly, and then they hit the top 4, and I'm not going to make that mistake again.
I've put Newcastle 4th. Ash, who are you choosing?
Liverpool.
Interesting. Ash being very
Sadly,
open and honest about his team.
Yeah.
I've put
that's-
Liverpool 3rd.
Liverpool 3rd.
The problem is Newcastle, their attacking against City was so disappointing.
Well, no, but you can't surely, Ash, put them higher than 3rd.
I don't know. I'm thinking about
Are you
it.
going Arsenal 3rd then?
We'll see.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Come on,
Arsenal
Ash.
third.
Arsenal 3rd.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I put Newcastle 4th because I think they can do it again. They've made improvements. Number 2, 2nd place, I've put Arsenal.
Arsenal.
Can we make changes?
Yeah.
You can.
Like- I'm debating whether I just say butt my head and throw Liverpool at the top.
Oh,
Well, you do, then we can ridicule you for
can
it
I just say,
later.
Ash, like, you have seen them play this season before you get crazy.
Like I said, our defence is what worries me.
Like, it's so bad.
Going forward, I think we're fine.
So
but
what are you doing,
defensively,
Ash?
atrocious. I'm gonna think. I'm gonna pray for a miracle in the remaining weeks of the transfer window. I'm gonna throw Newcastle down in 4, City 2nd, and off top. Fuck it.
Do you know what? There was a beautiful moment where Big was like, oh, Ash being really honest about his team there. And then within 5 minutes, you're like, no, fuck that, we're going to win it.
And so you've won City
I know you said
first, Jay,
you haven't
yeah?
said you'll think it, but I have to. I've got them in my bet.
Yeah. Right, so I've got Ash's own. To be honest, I think Ash has got the most rogue one, which is
Rare.
Liverpool to win the league.
I think I've got the most rogue one.
Do you?
Yeah,
Always a bit rogue.
United top 4. That's quite rogue.
Yeah, I mean, I've put them 5th, so I don't think they're that far fit. I don't think they're good enough from what I've seen to finish 4th, but I don't understand why with how much money they've spent. So,
I mean, we're all going to look like fools when Luton win it.
well,
But yeah, I've
got
I've gone with my heart there. If I was going with my head, it'd be Liverpool 4th, Newcastle 2nd.
Well, you can't take it back now, Ash. I've closed.
Oh
the
no,
notepad.
I'm sticking with what I've said, but that's the way it was going to be.
Fair enough. Well,
Right,
we'll
well,
have to
fuck
see how we get on with
I
that.
feed
We'll
into
come
the
back
wind.
in and check on it when we next do a football pod
Yeah.
and see where we're looking, see where the teams are.
Please
Palace will undoubtedly be 12th.
Yeah,
Um,
we're 11th now. We've not even played all the games at L8.
No.
Yeah.
So, but guys, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I wish we could stay on longer, but
Been
alas,
fun.
we must sign
Been a
off.
pleasure.
Ash,
Thanks
have
for
you
having me
learned from
again.
last time? And could you do the socials for us? Am I putting you too much on the spot?
Nah, you throw me under a bus.
I
The Jose
appreciate the
Mourinho
honesty.
bus.
I appreciate the honesty. Jake, then you'll have to step in for Mr. Ash.
Oh, man, I've done this before, and I've got to say there were many disappointed women. So let's see if I can try and change the turn. Okay,
Including my
breath.
mum?
Bro, I propositioned her. I think she's home now, which makes it really awkward.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be quiet.
I hope that's her.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll ask her, honey.
I'm screwed it.
So that you can find us at CrossingSwords _ podcast. I nearly
Completely fucked it, mate. Would you like me to do it?
Oh, no, I got it. At CrossingSwords
Are you a
_
guest?
No, honestly, no. But there's so much more to dive into there. At CrossingSwords _ podcast on TikTok and on Instagram.
Yep.
At Swords Crossing on Twitter is the best place to get us at.
Yeah. We're on the Twitter a lot.
CrossingSwords19@gmail.com.
It's our email.
Oh man, this is going so well.
And on Facebook, it's
Are you
simply
sure?
Crossing Swords.
Yeah, find us on YouTube, the link to which will be in the description.
And if you want to find
episodes.
Ash, he's on Twitter at AJ Travels.
Yes, I had to change it.
Did you?
Yeah, because it when you read it, I can't remember what it was, but it looked like AJ has a rash or something. I had to change.
When was this?
Oh, this is when I first got onto Twitter. This is when I didn't really understand the Twitter sphere, but yeah.
Oh, AJ Travels. Okay, yeah. Okay. I get it.
I can't remember what it was, but it looked like
It didn't look
I
good.
had a rash. Yeah.
But yeah, that's Ash's handle on Twitter. Ash has a rash.
Yeah. I can't remember.
Oh, that's good.
But no, thank you for coming on, Ash, and thank you for listening, everyone.
Would you like to just?
problem.
Would you like to hit a button deliberately before we go, or just lean
What
on one,
button
or?
would you like?
Or you just-
Sure, let's do it.
I've got one.
Hasta la vista, baby. Thank you.